All the content contained in this webcast is for informational purposes only. The investments and strategies contained in this webcast may not be suitable for you. Please consult your own advisor before making any investment or trading decisions. Good morning, traders and investors around the world, and welcome to Wednesday's Wild Edition of premarketinfo.com, where we prepare you for the most important hour of the day, the first hour. Well, Dennis, I'm not sure who's running the Fed out there, if it's Bernanke or Jamie Dimon, but that J.P. Morgan really lit a fire under this market.
Oh, it really did. Jamie Dimon obviously coming out with J.P. Morgan yesterday before the close saying that they had passed the stress test and were increasing their dividend. That's what really got the financials taking off there in the afternoon. And then the Fed came out, and if J.P. Morgan's already talking about their results, we better just announce everybody's results. So they upped it to 4:30 yesterday, and all the stress test results came out.
Okay, well, the market is really not giving it back. You would think after that kind of rally that it may pull back a bit, but that's not the case. The overnight high stands at 1393.75. If that holds as the high of the day, we have a downside target of 1379.50. Currently, the overnight low stands at 1386.25. As the low of the day, we have a target at 1400.50. Dennis, can you believe we're talking about 1400 on this show?
Crazy, Joel, crazy. We have been on such a run.
Okay, just right now, really the only significant numbers to look at are the high 1391 and a quarter, as well as the close at 90.75. That also coincides with our mid-range on the day. Moving on to the Big Ten, ExxonMobil had a heck of a day yesterday, following through on the rally that started on Monday, the old two-day rally trick, making a low just under Tuesday's close, rallying up to 86.93 being the high of the day. I see we're trading down just a tad here in the pre-market. I look for a lot of resistance, Dennis, between 86.93, which was Tuesday's high, and also the 7-day high at 87.09. I think you're going to see some big resistance there. Do you see anything in the book to confirm that?
Actually, I do, Joel. I do see 30,000 shares at 87, so that might put a lid on it to start. But it's had such a run. If it does take out that 87 area, then we had the double top, 87.83 about a month ago, and then if we go back into January, we topped out right in that 87.94 area. So if you went through 87, then you could start looking at the resistance on the upper 87s into the 88 area.
Okay, just on a note, 86.93 has been the high in the overnight session. Moving on to Apple Computer outlook. I guess I was joking around when I said when it went through 550, it was going to 1,000. But at least Morgan Stanley concurs with me. Looking at the Apple trading up already $6 in the pre-market. Really, the only identifiable areas I could give for you traders, 575 has been the session high so far, and 572 seems to be support. Better support would be at the all-time high at 568.16 to 568.10. So expect real good support at that level, because whoever took it home short, it's already $6 underwater.
Yeah, Joel, this stock you just can't short it. Morgan Stanley coming out this morning, adding it to their best ideas list. I don't know where they were 200 points ago, but it runs 200 points, and now it's their best idea. Short-term price target 720 with it, and then they had a price in here of possibly going as high. I'm just going to go grab it here. Read it right to you. Morgan Stanley lifted its price target to 720 with a 12-month bull case of possibly 960. Okay, I don't know where these numbers are coming from. If that's the case, I'm just in shock here if they really think this thing could go to 960. But regardless, it's the stock is strong. It's hard to short this thing. 600 is now acting like a magnet, so I wouldn't be surprised if this thing does make a run for the 600 area in the next day or two with the kind of momentum it has. But eventually, it's stuff like this that calls a top. Everybody getting in, saying, "Oh, 1,000." We've heard this almost a couple places now. The estimates are getting ridiculous.
Okay, moving on to our next component, another tech stock that's been on a tear, IBM, after getting over the 200 level earlier in the week, closed at 203.78 with a 203.90 high. That 203.90 has not been taken out in the pre-market. Use that as resistance. I don't even know if there's any size there at 204. But 203.90, use that as your swing number for resistance unless it's taken out. Coming back on the downside, still have to be long above 203. If it breaks below 203, you could have a breakdown to at least Tuesday's low at 201.61.
We've broken out over that 201. No, we made that high there. If we go back just to early March there, Joel, $200.66. We broke out over there 2 days ago, and we haven't looked back. The stock's got momentum now, so I'd be very scared to short this. If this thing starts trading over 204, I think it could be at 205 in a heartbeat. So you want to be careful if you're shorting the stock. I think pullbacks are still to be bought in this issue.
Okay, we've been talking about it for months. Finally, 110.99 was taken out in Chevron Corporation. Did it late in the day. I don't know if it caught some traders short. Went up to 111.31. That is now our new all-time high with a 19 close. Did trade up to a 111.35 in the pre-market. That will be our resistance. After that, the stock could just be in a full breakout mode, perhaps seeing 112 today. Coming back on the downside, as long as it stays above 110.64, you just have to be long the Chevron Corporation.
If stocks start making new highs like this, Joe, the whole number theory does come into play. I'm seeing 140,000 shares at 112. That high frequency guys find that stuff. They lean in front of it, expect high frequency resistance, all in the high 111s as they lean on the 112. 112 gets taken out, then they scramble to get out, and you have a tractor beam type of play. If you don't know what the tractor beam, we encourage you to read it on our education on our site. We write about it. That's what happens when you have institutional size. The high frequency guys lean on it, and then it'll respond in a certain way depending on how quickly the size goes.
Okay, Microsoft making a new high for the move at 32.69 with the 32.67 close. We had talked about the triple top there at the 32.20 area. That ended up being support yesterday as the low was only at 32.16. That resistance will be at the current high. Above that, we could migrate up to the $33 level. Coming back on the downside, as long as we hold 32.40, that's where the old highs were. Good to go north.
Yeah, Joel, with Apple making new highs, approaching that 600 area, Microsoft making new highs, now IBM making new highs. The tech stocks are strong. I think $33 might come into play, possibly as early as today. That's going to be the first major resistance point, just playing the whole number theory there as well.
I do see a spike in the pre-markets right after the close. Dennis has spiked to 32.04. I don't know if your charts are confirming that or not, but it looks like there was a little bit of volume there. But anyways, major support would come in at the $32 and 32.16 level. Moving on to GE, Dennis, that thing finally woke up and smelled the coffee.
Wow.
Made money. Low, took off, went through that 1950, made a high at 1966 with a 1959 close. That
Joel, you're dying over there?
I don't know what's going on here.
Sneezing through our show, no problem.
Coughing. Still can't get rid of this cold. 20 could be on the radar.
$20 is on the radar here, Joel, and you know how I love my 2-day theory. You get that one big breakout day, often followed by a second day, as you catch a lot of people short. When a stock has moved like this, and probably fundamental news, stress test results, moving all the financials, including GE as well, You got to think there could be some shorts underwater here. Whenever they're underwater, that means the move could be sustainable, and I think the $20 area could come into play. It's a push to say it's going to come into play today, but I think it might come into play over the next couple of sessions.
Okay, after having a big day on Monday, Dennis, Procter & Gamble took a little breather yesterday, though it did close on the high of the day at 67.90, made a low at 67.57. That will be support today, so as long as we stay above that level, we're poised to test the $68 level. 67.90 should be a good swing number. I see it's unchanged in the pre-market. We got some size at 68 we need to contend with.
Yeah, 650,000 shares. So the high frequency guys do seek that out and they lean on it. So keep that in mind. You could have a tractor beam type of play there as well. I'll limit my own comments just because I do have a trading position in Procter & Gamble as well.
Okay, AT&T, another strong day for that, continuing to migrate up towards the 52-week high at 31.94. Made a high at 31.64 over the 63 close. That will be resistance. As long as we stay above 31.57, we're good to go north.
That 52-week high at 31.94. It's starting to do a march there. We're only 30 cents away from it now, so maybe that's where we're heading here. Joel, is that $32 area?
Okay, J&J tight range yesterday, opened up the high and sold off. 65.5 is going to be major resistance. I see it trading down in the pre-market. 65 should be good support. So, Dennis, is that just an odd lot there in J&J?
Yeah, actually it is, Joe. We got a bit of 65.18, just an odd lot traded there a little bit lower. I'll limit my comments on this one too. I got a couple trading positions out there, and I have one in J&J as well.
Okay, our final component, Pfizer, just like GE, a stock that has been sleeping, woke up yesterday, closed over the $22 level, cleared out some size there. I'm sure it's going to give it a test there again today. The high of the move has been 22.17, so if it can get above and hold 22, look for a move up to that area. I know from when we were up here previously, those were some highs going back to 2008. Coming back on the downside, I see support at the 21.89 area, so use that as an area to cover some early shorts or initiate some longs.
The defensive stocks have been coming back into favor in the last few sessions. Pfizer's no exception. I'm starting to love this chart. You had the huge run up if we look in the last 4-month charts. Huge run up from the low 18 area to the 22. Pulled back the 21, nice consolidation pattern, coming back up here, now testing that old resistance. I think eventually it probably takes it out and starts to make new 52-week highs. Stocks like this are just in favor. People like the dividends. It's got a 4% yield, conservative issue. I think this stock, I think pullbacks will need to be bought.
Okay, S&P's around the close, 7-point range in the pre-market, so not a huge range. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our market movers.